Have you ever wondered how cybersecurity experts find the cracks in our digital walls before the bad guys do? Well, they use a specific set of powerful tools. And believe it or not, they're often the exact same ones attackers use. Today, we're going to dive deep into the world of offensive security and unpack the hacker's toolkit, piece by piece. You see, our digital world is built on literally millions of lines of code and incredibly complex setups. And hidden inside all that complexity, weaknesses. We're talking about everything from something super technical like a SQL injection, where an attacker can literally hijack a website's database, to something as simple as someone forgetting to change a default password. Every single one is a potential open door for an intruder. And that right there is the million-dollar question. I mean, if all these vulnerabilities are just sitting there, how do you find them and plug the holes before someone with bad intentions does? The answer is actually pretty simple. You have to learn to think exactly like an attacker. You have to use their methods and their tools, but for a totally different reason. Okay, but before we go any further, we need to talk about something that is absolutely critical, the ethical line in the sand. The tools we're about to show you are incredibly powerful. I mean, in the wrong hands, they can cause some serious chaos, but in the right hands, they're the very things that keep us all safe. So that brings us to the core distinction here, the white hat versus the black hat hacker. Think of the white hat as the good guy. They're an ethical hacker who has explicit, legal permission to test a system. Their whole goal is to find weaknesses and report them so they can be fixed. A black hat, on the other hand, is operating illegally. They're breaking into systems for money, for data, or maybe just to cause trouble. It's the same exact toolkit, but a completely different world of intent and legality. Every single security test, whether it's for good or for bad, starts in exactly the same way. Gathering information. You just can't attack a target you don't understand. So this first phase is all about building a detailed map of the digital territory you're looking at. This is called reconnaissance, or recon for short. You can think of it like a detective surveying a crime scene. The entire goal is to figure out what's on the network. You know, what computers are connected, what software are they running, and what digital doors and windows, or in our case ports, are open to the outside world. And when it comes to this job, the number one tool, hands down, is Nmap. It literally stands for Network Mapper. It's a free open source tool that has become the absolute gold standard for network discovery and security auditing. For pretty much any ethical hacker, this is where it all begins. So how does it work? Well, at its core, Nmap sends out these specially crafted digital messages, called packets, to the target network. And then it just listens for the responses. It's kind of like knocking on a series of doors to see who's home. From those simple responses, Nmap can figure out if a device is online, what operating system it's running, and which of its ports are open and listening for a connection. All right, so once your recon has given you a map, the next step is to start testing those doors and windows you found. This phase is called exploitation. It's all about turning a theoretical weakness into actual access. So let's see how an ethical hacker takes those first findings to the next level. If Nmap is the magnifying glass, then the Metasploit framework is like a whole set of master keys. What makes this tool so amazing is that it essentially democratized hacking. It takes these really complex exploits that are hard to pull off and packages them into these simple, reliable modules. A security tester can find an old, outdated service with Nmap and then use the right module in Metasploit to safely show exactly how an attacker could take over that system. But of course, not all systems are the same. When you're dealing with websites and web apps, one of the most powerful tools out there is Burp Suite. It works by sitting in the middle, between your web browser and the server, kind of like a digital middleman, and it intercepts all the traffic. This is so important because it lets a tester actually mess with the requests, replay them with small changes, and find web-specific flaws, like SQL injection, that an automated scanner would probably just miss. Okay, so we've talked about attacking code, attacking configurations, but what if the weakest link in the entire system isn't a piece of software at all? What if it's a person? This is where things get really fascinating, because sometimes the easiest way in has nothing to do with code and everything to do with exploiting human trust. Enter the Social Engineer Toolkit, or SET. This thing is designed specifically to test what we call the human firewall. It can automate attacks that prey on our trust. It lets a tester create super convincing phishing emails, clone legitimate websites to trick people into giving up their passwords, and even send spoofed text messages. It is a powerful, powerful reminder that the weakest link often isn't the code, it's us. So let's say an ethical hacker has gotten a foothold on the network. What's next? Well, now it's time to just listen. To really understand the environment, you have to watch the traffic that's flowing through it. It's just like trying to understand what's happening in a room by listening to all the conversations. This process is called packet sniffing. See, every single piece of data sent over a network, whether it's an email or a website, is broken down into these tiny little pieces called packets. Packet sniffing tools let you grab those packets right out of the air and put them back together, so you can see the raw data as it's flying by. And the undisputed king of these tools is Wireshark. The best way to think about it is like a super-powered wiretap for your network. It captures and decodes the raw data packets, letting you see literally everything, from web traffic to database queries, in microscopic detail. For a security pro, this is priceless. It can reveal misconfigurations, spot malicious activity, and, this is a big one, find sensitive data, like passwords being sent completely unencrypted, in plain text. Now, what if you don't just want to listen to the conversation? What if you want to write your own messages? That's where a tool like Scapy comes into play. It's what's known as a packet grafter, because it doesn't just capture packets, it lets you build them from scratch, byte by byte. This allows an ethical hacker to create really bizarre or even malicious packets that would never exist in normal traffic, all to test how things like firewalls react to the unexpected. It's a way of probing for weaknesses in their logic. As you can see, it's a pretty complex world of tools and techniques, and it's not a one-and-done kind of fight. It's a continuous cycle, a constant cat-and-mouse game between the people trying to break in and the people trying to keep them out. And that really brings us back to the core philosophy behind everything we've talked about today. You simply cannot build a strong defense if you don't understand the offense. Ethical hackers use these powerful tools not to cause harm, but to find the weaknesses first, so we can build stronger, more resilient systems for all of us. You have to think like a hacker to beat a hacker. And that leaves us with one final thought. As our world becomes more and more tangled up in technology, this game of cat and mouse just gets more and more intense. So the real question is, can this battle ever truly be won? Or is it just a permanent balancing act between creation and destruction? Something to think about.